everybody. My name is UltraDavid, and welcome to Monday Morning Quartersback, where we talk about match analysis for fighting games that happened just recently. Today we're going to be looking at Capcom Pro Tour stuff. This is a match that happened just yesterday on the CPT East Europe / Russia in the Grand Finals. It's a very interesting match in a couple of different ways. One is in characters, and another is sort of more in the mental side of things. I think it's a very interesting thing to look at. Let's just hop upstairs to David, who I have been told uses one of the characters that will be in this Grand Finals, which means that he may have an extra insight than he often does. Although I should say it's always fantastic. Good job up there, buddy. I see you up there in the seats. But this should be extra good. David, take it away. All right, thanks a lot for the introduction, David, on the field. You're right. You're looking good, by the way. Did you get a new haircut? You're looking. I like it. You're looking good. I haven't gotten a haircut in a while myself. It's been about half of a year. In this one, we're going to be looking at, again, Honda versus Laura. This, of course, is going to be Grand Finals from the past weekend and the CPT, an event that had a lot of really interesting stuff to talk about in it. Again, both from the matchup side, which is cool to watch, and also from more of the player sort of mental side. How do these players adapt? You know, what's it like to be in a Grand Finals with Capcom Cup participant on the line? Not easy is the short shrift of that, but that's going to be a couple of things that we're looking at here as we get into it. Our production, if you could send us into the game itself, please do so. Thank you very much. As you can see, we're going to be talking about the Capcom Pro Tour East Europe / Russia, a region that many other places in the world I think don't pay enough attention to. There's certainly a lot of talent here, as honestly there is in just about every region in the world. So let's get it started. Oh, I suppose I should say that this is Papoi Laura versus Jamie Honda. Jamie's coming from winner's side in Grand Finals, and Papoi Laura is coming from loser's side. You know that gives a big advantage to Jamie, to the Honda player here. Keep that in mind as this goes through. I'll talk about the matchup a little bit in terms of characters. Again, we're looking just as much at the players and their mentalities as at the character match.
Spoiler.
So Honda versus Laura, as we speed through, thanks to CFN. Honda versus Laura is a match that I feel is pretty even-ish. Maybe it's a little bit of a win for Laura, but I don't think that it's a big deal. I honestly think it's pretty even. Why is that? Well, both of these characters have underwhelming defense. Laura at least has a 3-frame button, which Honda doesn't have. But they both have really overwhelming offense. And in terms of footsies, I actually like more of what Honda can do in this match. But of course, when you're in trouble, well, nice read by Jamie to get out of that situation. But that's a bad spot, right? To be in that kind of up-close Laura's pressuring you situation, just like this. So we're going to be watching a lot of this in terms of how Jamie gets out of some of these situations. And we saw a couple of them there. One is that she called out maybe that Papoi was going to go for, standing reset, a command grab, something like that. And she interrupted maybe a V-skill dash. And she interrupted with crouching short into hands, jab hands. Another one is, of course, EX butt slam is huge. V-shift. These are all super important defensive techniques versus Laura, and we saw Jamie bring out each of them so far. But do keep in mind that there was a lot of, how to phrase, maybe fidgetiness in defense for Jamie.
Fantastic tool to pester your opponents. It's just easy to catch your opponent off guard.
Using V-Skill 1 as well, which is pretty cool. V-Skill 1 I think is a little underrated. I do prefer V-Skill 2 in almost every match, but V-Skill 2 in this one I think does make a lot of sense because you can blow up the fireball as you saw. It's also cancelable. It's actually Honda's furthest cancelable option other than V-Skill 2 forward roundhouse. Yeah, there you go, right? And it hits at the same time. It definitely has utility.
That was a great application on the V-Skill 1.
Okay, so interrupting there, previously had blocked. So we're seeing both sides of things. It's not just interrupting constantly for Jamie.
Okay, just backing off there.
No anti.
Gonna block, take that grab's fine. I like
Right, interrupted. Nice keeping an eye on things and after the dash.
And we also see Jamie.
And now Honda has a lot more to say once. Oh boy, once that V trigger is activated, the fact that his footsies becomes even better stand strong is hit confirmable, right? Crouching medium kick is hit confirmable, right into it. Oh, dang. Interesting timing for EX. Okay, and one thing that we saw quite a bit of too in that game is headbutts in neutral. Now, Jamie's typically spacing the medium headbutts so that they're outside of like fast Laura retaliation buttons. We saw jab headbutt a couple times. I don't think that we saw fierce headbutt. So, you know, keep an eye on how Jamie's playing defensively, offensively. I don't want to give short shrift to Papoy, who was moving around the screen quite a bit, built offense for himself a couple of times, didn't end up going all the way with them, but, you know, you could definitely see that, like, he is finding ways in as well. And playing against Honda takes a lot of specialized knowledge. He is just a little unique in terms of how he plays in some ways. And so if you're not familiar with the character, you're going to get blown up. I think a lot of people have had that experience. Papoy, I think that's not the case. I mean, we got a couple of players from Russia here. Presumably they've played each other. I don't know, but I would assume that that's true.
6 games against Honda is a mountain anyway. And then you
It definitely seems that way to me in some ways, sometimes, the way that they're playing. Oh, man, stealing huge turns there, and again. But look at Jamie, right? Very active defensively. I think this actually might be it. Let's go back and check that out briefly here. A couple of things to look at here. So this starts off a little faster
honestly, 6 games against
in the situation. Now notice there was a dash in there. That's a stolen turn.
And then you've
Right.
Then you've got the biggest mountain in the world, which is
Right, stolen turn right there. Stolen turn right there. There's 3 in a row. Dash up jab, then roundhouse. A couple of times when Jamie could have pressed buttons, could have done stuff.
I don't know if that was intentional. That might have been a sunset.
Whoa! Look at this crash counter.
Yeah, you know, I actually don't know where in Russia these players are from. For Evo, I think it was in Mortal Kombat. I think I did commentary for that? No, maybe not. Anyway, I was just watching, I guess. But there was a player from Vladivostok on the opposite side of Russia. This, you know, the opposite side of Eurasia, like the huge landmass. And that was kind of funny. So I don't know where the distances are here, to be honest. If anybody does know, let me know. That would be really cool.
Hit by every crush
counter imaginable, yeah.
Well, it's one round out of many.
Okay, yeah. The mediums there are good buttons to get under or through the Thunderclap Fireball. Okay. Oh, just got a little lucky there, actually. Really good conversion, though. And now we have Jamie actually pressuring in the corners. First time we've seen this, looking for something to blow up there, frame trap, looking for buttons there as well. So very active choices for Jamie. Reversal out, right EX butt slam yet again. Definitely useful in those situations, but Papoy has trigger, yeah, ready to go. He's gonna need a reset here.
Like hypothetically.
What you gonna do, man? Yeah.
Jamie trying to chase.
He was looking like she was.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, to the other side. So, you know, think back again to some of the defensive things we were talking about that Jamie was using before and in round number 1 here. Pretty active, right? If we can go back here and watch how this one as well. Yes, Jamie, right, with the life lead. Overcommits, right, on EX headbutt right here. And that's minus high 20s. I don't remember offhand exactly, but it's minus enough that anybody in the game can get whatever they want effectively. A lot of characters can do dash up heavy attack, in fact, to punish it. So Papoy with, you know, good enough punish for it. Right into the corner. And now, again, right, active, we see V shift, we see V reversal, EX butt slams coming out. Buttons were there earlier, so keep those options in mind yet again. Now, I don't mean to say this to criticize Jamie too much. Laura is a terrifying character up close. Honda doesn't have great defensive tools. He's got a 4-frame button, that's his fast. Does not have a 3-framer. He doesn't have anything instantly invincible other than super. Doesn't have anything instantly armored. He can specifically call out a grab by doing EX butt slam, right? But like you could also just have, if you call out a grab, just tech or like backdash, right? Maybe even better. So he doesn't have great defensive tools. And that means as the Honda player, you have to commit sometimes defensively, right? You can't just sit there constantly. You have to commit sometimes.
Definitely.
Jamie was one of the players that told me, he's like, look, the more rounds and games you win, the more...
Yeah, there's the usage of that V skill. That's nice. So Papoy's offense up close, his mix-ups. Game number 1 we talked about, weren't quite there. Game number 2 looking good. Game number 3 started, and... Okay.
Sort of let you know.
There you go. And
You know, you can definitely see him stealing turns here and there. So headbutt again.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to see.
That's medium headbutts. Which can't be punished at certain ranges, can't be at others.
The clap was going to make it safe regardless, I think.
Oh.
hard version of the head.
Oh, try to
Oh,
interrupt
backdash, right? Look again, Jamie, very active.
For Jamie, one throw.
Okay, here's a huge opportunity.
Oh no! You see
I mean, we talked about how Laura can be scary. Well, same with Honda up
Jamie
close.
might throw you 2 times.
Yeah.
Right, she's looking for a V reversal. Papoy didn't give it to her.
Really? Oh, what is happening?
Oh, that's
There it is.
hold on.
Still
it's
has
in there.
reach.
Aye, okay.
Oh, nice catch.
It's getting a little bit messy. I think, right. I think this is the perfect time to take advantage of this. Jamie's feeling the heat.
Yeah.
He's starting
Yeah,
to
you
feel
can
it
see
now.
that in that round.
You see a lot of jump back jabs as anti-airs. Okay, so I think that's the first full screen headbutt that we saw
Avoid the counter on
connect.
this quickly.
Keep that in mind as well.
Yeah.
There's a throw.
Yes.
Really good for Papoy.
Dash again. Okay, that gives free entry into Laura with the no quick rise option.
Up, good break again there. And again, like the backdash this time round, because after throw tech, some Honda players like to
Right,
fight
the
back.
link, very nice.
It's pretty fast startup. I think it's like 7 frames startup.
Anti-airs are still there as well. On double dash and versus quick rise, Papoy could have pressed the button, but just didn't expect, I guess.
So that means it was Papoy's turn.
Backs off, chasing him down. And
Wow, great throw.
Oh, what an interruption.
nice light kick. Did that stop from the clap.
Right, that was strong, very nicely placed. That's fierce, I think.
Look at these headbutts. They are landing right now.
And
Oh, fierce again, I think.
Not this time.
no.
Uh-oh.
Wow. Okay, so Papoy understood that he needed to get a reset there into some extra damage. It needed to be, you know, command grab or find another hit or whatever it was. It wasn't just going to outright kill. Let's go back and see this
Oh, no.
from
Look at these headbutts.
a little
They are landing
earlier.
right now.
and
No,
Right.
not this time.
Right. So Link. Right. Typically, you'll see this end in elbow, in which case she's plus right next to you. But Papoy again wanted to do something a little bit extra, and Jamie was ready for that. So being active definitely has its utility on defense.
really needs this round, and I'm saying that from a player perspective because if Papoy takes this one, I think we're going to see a different outcome. It's only one
Right, and a
Yeah,
chase.
but looking really good for Jamie right now. Look at this. The momentum is on her side.
good punish on the sweep.
Yeah.
Sweep for sweep.
Yeah,
sweep
bringing
up.
out a little bit more of those heavy
Surprisingly good
headbutts.
sweep, actually. I think that's also similar.
Oh, wow, okay.
See it very often.
I think the intention may have been to blow something up like that. Right, EX butt slam. It's that fierce actually whiffs. We're gonna go back and look at that. That was super close. If this ends up being a W for Papoy, that moment could be huge. Okay, it doesn't. But let's go back and check out that anti-air attempt. Right, look at this. This barely does not work out. Oh, that is super close. Actually, maybe too early on the fierce. Oh, wow. Okay. Anyway, it ended up working for Jamie.
Actually, I think
But
that's
let's-
also Sim and Friends. You just don't see
Let's
it
check
very
this out.
often.
This, again, defensive situations here.
Gotta get sneaky, come on.
Right,
And
jumps
the button
in.
is there. Watch out for another button. Hold on. Jump.
Yeah.
No.
The V reverse.
And then I'm not really sure why the V-skill overhead came out from Papoy. But Jamie was right there for the punish. So, all right, Jamie's up 2-1.
Crouching medium kick to
Again, in
finish
Winterside
off
Grand
the
Finals.
round
This
there.
means that if Jamie wins one more game, then she qualifies for Capcom Cup.
No footsies.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's something that you think about. When you're a player in this kind of situation, you know, you can qualify for Capcom Cup in the very next game. That's on your mind. You know, it's very tough for that to not be on your mind.
There's a back throw.
And again,
Right now, though, Jamie's looking good, right? V reversal safe options,
There we go.
faked corner.
Counter hit as well. Good.
That was probably wake up V reversal. So now Jamie is at tournament point. This is tournament point for her. She needs to take one more round. She's in Capcom Club. Again, she won Evo in her region. Very skilled player.
Jugs, it is potential tournament point, Capcom Cup qualifying point for Jamie TTM, unless Papoy can pop the balloon. And
Okay,
really
nice
go
catch by
there.
Papoy.
it's true.
Pretty hands off from Jamie right there. Wants to cage. Yep, could have maintained a little more offense.
If she ends this
I don't think we've seen the neutral jump fierce before, but it was there, and Papoy was already ready.
I think that'd be fantastic.
That would be very poetic.
Right, and again, no quick rise means Laura gets to party.
Uh-oh.
You gotta do it sometimes. Maybe she goes for command grab. You want to wait for that, but boy, look at how, again, I mean, y'all know this about Laura, but how fast things can go downhill.
I think that'd be fantastic.
This was 1. Now that's a bad guess right there. Bad guess again. I think that was a backdash that got caught.
Don't butt slap.
And again, so we see, again, you know, Jamie is an active defensive player. We had seen that before. But in this sequence here, this was all sorts of different options. Almost every option. I don't think there was V-meter spent, but other than that, there was everything that could be done.
That'd be fantastic. I think that'd be fantastic.
That would be very poetic.
There we go.
Right. Backdash, caught.
Oh, the crush cover.
Wake up button, I think, here. Yes, throw as well. So, again, very active.
I think Jamie's
Again, keep in mind what's on the line. You know, a trip to Capcom Cup.
to butt slap because she thought it was a throw. Oh, no. Oh, man. This is getting tense here. It's still Capcom Cup point here for
Yeah,
Jamie TTM.
still.
Papoy, what you got left in the tank, baby?
Okay. Medium.
Hold on. Jamie's feeling
Right, and EX, very common tool for Honda, and why not? Not really a great option for Laura to get through that, at least not without spending meter and in like very particular situations.
Yeah. Good check on the linear movement V skill.
Okay, look, she's got a perfect right now. 25 seconds in,
You're gonna have to get that yourself.
big life advantage.
Really work.
Come on, throw might do it. I don't know if you'll get the
Oh,
chance
no.
though. Right, you gotta
What's
choose.
gonna happen?
Actually, V shifted into the projectile.
Oh my god, that is Galaxy Brain!
Oh, wait, good
But
jump.
the air to air!
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, oh my
Oh boy. Okay, so what was it right there? What was this ending decision? So she's obviously in trouble, right? The stun's mounting. She's in the corner. Doesn't have a lot of life left at this point. What happens here? Those jump.
Oh my god.
What's the choice? I'm really not sure. It might have been V reversal. Obviously, there's nothing to V reverse, and you just kind of like got forward. Is this a startup of heavy here? Maybe. Really can't tell. Actually, it doesn't even say counter hit, so I guess not. Maybe she tried to walk out? I'm not sure. I'm not, you know, to be honest, I'm not sure.
Oh my goodness!
This is part of what I want to talk about, though.
Oh my god!
And it's not like an easy conversation, but in a moment like this, when something big's on the line, you know, was a $5,000 pot for every CPT. First place will get the most of that, of course. So there's a monetary incentive for this, which is relevant for all of us. There's also this trip to Capcom Cup where, you know, you can win so much more, but maybe more than that, and maybe more practically for most people. You're in Capcom Cup, right? It's a hugely prestigious thing. It's something everybody who plays competitively would absolutely love to have, and at the same time is very difficult mentally to prepare for, to get used to the idea that you're in it, to qualify for, right? Mentally difficult to qualify for. And you know, we had a situation here where the player is at tournament point once, then twice, has a perfect halfway through the tournament point round, and ends it, you know, as you could see, right, very quickly. I mean, again, Laura is a dangerous character, as we all know. Papoy's got good mix-ups. I like a lot of what we've seen him do. But, you know, this right here, you know, V-shift back, a little panicky. I mean, she's super good. I don't want to make it seem like she's needs, like, advice. She's super good at this stuff. But nevertheless, like, a panicky choice. And
That is Galaxy Brain! But the air to
yeah,
air!
still stuck in the corner. And then I'm not sure. It doesn't say counter hit, so whatever it was may have been intended to have been headbutt, stand fierce, I don't know what else, right? Whatever else you can think of. V-shift, maybe. But without a counter hit there was, I guess, not a button pressed. Just on the stick, just you know, I don't know, got hit. So that moment there of Capcom Cup qualification ends up, as you could see, being a win for Papoy. So now it is 2-2.
He will freeze up. Even
But
Jamie
Jamie
done the jump back down.
Yeah, the air to air.
Right, interruption is there. Good to see.
Oh my goodness.
Again, you know, the difficulty of those moments, mentally speaking.
Jamie definitely knows.
If you can start the next round by having something great, you can absolutely get yourself back mentally from that. But now, you know, fierce headbutt. We have seen mostly medium headbutts, which makes sense. Fierce is coming out a little bit more often from Jamie. Right, and again, it worked, but still, it's quite a risk.
Maybe after this set, if it doesn't go Jamie's way, I might want to see a V-skill change.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
That's me personally.
Me too, yeah.
Oh boy. Oh, she's so sure it's going to be command grab. Yeah, and again, and again.
She's done again.
You know, again, I mean, we talked about this. Jamie likes to be active. It's a very reasonable choice. And it's certainly something I do too, but you know, not blocking for a lot of this, right? It's very, very sure there's going to be a command grab or something like that, or a bigger button so that she could take some time and hit something there instead, and just none of that comes. So in the last 3 rounds, we've seen Jamie at match point twice, tournament point twice. Papoy win those 2 rounds, those 3 rounds now.
Jabbers, oh my god.
I did say.
You did say.
Is that the commentator's curse? I said, if he gets another round, she's gonna be feeling the heat, man.
Yeah.
No way.
Oh my goodness.
That's definitely a punish. It could have been more.
Didn't work out this time either. Oh no. We are really not seeing the clap work here.
No V break though. Have to respect that thunderclap. It's out again. Jumping back all the way
Yeah.
to the corner.
Oh, what a block. That was super good. Yeah. Once Laura presses a button on you, she can't cancel into anything that's low. Right. She can only cancel into an overhead. So if you block something from her, you can stand up right away.
Boy is looking really solid here.
Should have canceled into the
Easier said than done, obviously.
Didn't get the charge time enough.
Was looking for the punish on that headbutt. Didn't get
Oh, what a backdash. One thing we're seeing out of Papoy is much more playing with his spacing. A lot of backdashes to reset situations. It's very unexpected timing on the sweep. He's definitely mixing it up a lot more, not just in pressure, but in neutral.
Staggered medium punches. It's going in full force right now.
Okay, so Honda's dangerous. Super good idea. What can you say, right?
Wait.
Is that the bracket reason? Is that the bracket?
Trying to bait a super is my guess. And then the interruption, you know, a lot of people don't know about this, but you can absolutely, if you have a 3-frame button, you can interrupt crouching jab into hands. You can do that, you know, and this is one of the moments that made me think, oh yeah, Papoy knows this matchup well. A couple other things too, including stuff that we've talked about, but this is definitely a great idea to interrupt here. You can't see that it's like crouching jab, then hand startup, then you press jab, right? Like it's not like that, but you knowing that this is an option is an important part of it. Look, I mean, those are some rounds right there where, you know, I don't want to say that this is lopsided one way or the other in terms of why the results are happening. That is to say, it's both that Papoy is playing well, is mixing up on offense well, is getting a good read on what he thinks Jamie wants to do, is moving around and making it difficult for Jamie to know like where to stand, where to jump, where to do V skill, all that sort of stuff. A lot of back and forth by Papoy. So I like a lot of what we're seeing out of his lower play right now. At the same time, and just as importantly, Jamie is getting more committed to ideas on defense and in offense. And those are commitments that if they pay off can be helpful. But as we saw in this round and in the last few rounds, defensively speaking, Papoy is reading all of them. And offensively speaking, Jamie brought out fierce headbutt a couple of times, got punished, right? In neutral, fierce headbutt. Fierce headbutt as a check occasionally. Some characters have difficulty punishing it. If you are a character that has to be sure whether it was fierce headbutt or strong headbutt to punish it, that's extra difficult. So there's utility in it, but in some of the ranges that Jamie's brought it out in the last couple of rounds, it's not quite as difficult to know what to do, right? As Laura, you just press like the fierce button and you can punish it. So these 2 things are happening at the same time as Papoy gets the reset. All right, so that's the reset in grand finals. We're going down to the last set, which means that the next winner of the 3 out of 5 is going to take it. It's very difficult. I mean, again, I don't want to undersell anybody here. I really like what Papoy's doing. I think Jamie's a super strong player. I was very happy for her when she won Evo in her region. As I said, I thought that she was one of the favorites, probably in my view, the favorite to take this region's CPT as well. So I think highly of her as a player. But in this moment, when Capcom Cup's on the line, I think you can see the sort of strain that produces mentally. It's something I've seen that I've experienced, although I haven't been to Capcom Cup, but I've experienced as a player myself in smaller tournaments than this, and that I've seen many times in big events as well.
Damn, that was a good set.
Oh, look at this. And you can absolutely tell that Papoy smells blood, can you not? I mean, look at it, the jumping here, the dashing in. That is a person who's certain. That EX right there. Oh, super lucky for Jamie.
You dropped the most important punish there, even on the EX head.
Oh, what a walk forward into the command grab. Okay, wow. One thing I want to say about this too is that this is a reset time. Although I fast forwarded through it, there was a little period here where in CFN, when one set ends and the next one's going to start, there's a little bit of time, right, for the next set to begin, And during that time, in watching this live or this morning, my thought was, Jamie, okay, got hit by some of the same things. Right, this sequence, for example. And then after this V-shift, look at the defense, right? Blocking, hanging out, blocking. So maybe thinking, okay, I was too active. I am too active right now, in fact. Gotta hang out and commit to fewer things, just block a little bit, trying maybe to set herself down. And what happens? Well, Papoya reads the situation perfectly and takes big advantage of it by dashing. Look at these moments here, right? So this is a stolen turn. A couple of them here. Yeah, there's one as well. This dash in where Jamie maybe in previous rounds would have pressed buttons. Maybe that was the right answer here. But you can't get it right all the time. And instead, Jamie has kind of now changed up, at least in this little instance, what her defensive choices are, and Papoy reads it, perfectly right away without even seeing it. So this should have been the end. Again, you can actually dash and punish. This is super, super punishable. Dash and punish. Don't just press. Well, I guess honestly, Papoy could have pressed anything other than maybe what happened. If this had been jab into shoulder, like this would have also been the end, or jab into elbow. But yeah, just dash. You can get real close.
You dropped the most important punish there, even on
Yeah, and that trigger's gone. And so after that, Papoy again walked up and again now thinks, oh, Jamie went through this phase of being very active, then went through a phase of not doing stuff. And so Papoy reads that the command grab is going to work out. Just a guess, of course, but an educated one.
Mamma mia, indeed.
Okay, Jamie ready.
A great answer from Jamie.
And a chase. And that was, I believe, strong, so not as much of a risk as the fierce. Okay, a very important tech. Talk about that in a sec. Go back at the end of the round here. So you see what I mean about Papoy backing off, right? Backing off really far to a range where he could set things up again. There's the punish.
Another overhead, fraudulent overhead again. Gotta be careful with those, Papoy.
Yeah. Can't feel yourself that much.
Yep. Smart idea with the V-shift. There's sort of more offensive V-shift. Yeah. So look, I mean, Jamie's not entirely out of it. There was definitely some good choices there. Let's go back. I just wanted to talk about the V reversal here. So this is something that applies to quite a few characters. If you don't really have like a great punish on butt slam, if you don't have like Ryu parry, Gil parry, if you don't have like invincible flash kick or whatever, like whatever your character has, then a lot of characters can do actually is V shift after blocking the first hit, the upward hit, and they kind of move forward here. And it's possible to punish if you're as fast as possible. But if not, it's still your turn, and you've, if this is in the corner, gotten the corner for yourself, right? So you completely flip the script right away. So again, I mean, this is one of the things that I mentioned before. I was like, oh, Papoy definitely knows this match.
Valley of Thieves? Well,
The president's not here no more. He can watch it from the back seat.
The president isn't here because the Valley of the Thieves, you know, the thieves did their job.
Sunset wheel.
Right. She got hit by that once, not again.
Overhead.
She's definitely still in here.
Gotta be careful with those, Pat Boy.
Yeah.
But
Can't feel yourself that
Right, good spacing and timing on the
comes Jamie.
headbutt, so it's not an easy punish.
Plus one.
And then the jump back jab. Jump back jab,
textbook answer.
why that rather than fierce headbutt? A couple of reasons. One is just maybe player preference. Another one is that Laura's light kick has a really good hitbox on it. And another one is that there's kind of a range where it gets funky, whether you can anti-air or whether you're going to be like underneath with fierce headbutt. And this might have been like,
Medium hand.
yeah, like right around there. Like, was this maybe a range where fierce headbutt would have whiffed under? It's conceivable.
Plus one.
So Jamie went with the trade, which is a good idea there.
Textbook answer from Honda.
I think what's interesting as well, I like the jump back jab choices because even though you can anti-air with heavy headbutt, sometimes you don't want to.
Right, so that's on reaction, and that's important to see. Oh yeah, what a great read. We'll go back and check that out as well, but Poi definitely making a good read on that one.
Yeah, and Honda has some good anti-air normals as well. You got the roundhouse and you got standing hard.
You know, Poi walks up a lot, and that is absolutely working for him.
Okay, gets a forward throw again.
Right.
Stand hard punch, confirm it to the bolt charge. Jumps out of the corner there, Jamie.
Yeah.
Good check.
They're invaluable to get out of the corner against Papoy.
Right, that was a great range for fierce headbutt.
That corner.
Okay, so Poi may be giving up on V-trigger.
There you go. That's a lot of damage.
Oh my god, what? What a huge read. Oh, wow, and that's going to be enough. Wow.
There you go.
Wow, okay, there's a few things to talk about in this round.
They are situational as well.
So, right, again, moment where Jamie with some patience. Poi reads those moments. Jamie, impatient, Poi reads those moments. Jumping out of the corner, though, still. And then aware. This stand short into crouching strong. Probably supposed to have been stand short into hands, is my guess. Could have been stand short into headbutt instead, and just something, you know, into medium headbutt instead, and just kind of didn't get it on the stick.
They're invaluable to get out of the corner against Papoy because Papoy has been dominating in that corner.
I heard heavy headbutt twice. One
Yeah.
works an anti, the other one should have been punished.
There you go. That's a lot of damage. For
Yeah, look at that big stolen turn. Well, that was after jab hands, right?
One works an anti, the other one should have been punished.
There you go.
Yeah, it sure is. So that is actually plus on block. And Poi not only doesn't sit still, but he dashes forward. What bravery in that moment. Very unusual choice.
Super's coming if you're not careful.
And then maybe he's worried about super. So Jamie backs off. Smart choice from her. And then, you know, look.
One single button.
Super's
Command grab is watch it in real time. It's fast, right? Then V skills in and ends it pretty quickly. So look, it's not the case that like Jamie lost the first set and was deleted mentally. There's definitely moments in here where she's making great choices. There's also moments still where like she, you know, Poi is getting the best of her in some of these instances in ways that I don't think we saw in the beginning of the first set.
I told you, this guy's my MVP of the weekend.
We did see, if you recall, Jamie whiff punish the V skill in set 1. We didn't see it there. Again, the dash forward grab. Okay, interruption comes. Yeah, she does not get free dash after that.
Leveling during the tournament kind of stuff. At least it looks to
But
me
it does
like
seem, doesn't it, that Poi is jumping in a lot, reading these moments a lot.
I didn't know he
Yeah.
could ascend to another level, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, so Jamie interrupting.
that's a great way to put it.
He's done, but he gets crush countered, unfortunately, this time round. Claps into hands.
Activation, yes, beautiful.
Like,
Yeah.
Jamie has been checking really well those situations, so you gotta be careful.
Yeah, even though the score is what it is
Oh!
right now, Jamie
Not there in
has
time.
great answers.
Good choice.
Oh boy, oh, this is such a bad spot. And then it hits, yeah, for sure.
So it forced him to do
Oh, man, my work.
fully charge the headbutt. Break it.
Oh, didn't kill. What? Oh my god, Poi's making great reads.
Good choice. I like
Yeah, I mean, it's just a bad spot to be in, right? You can see Jamie, I think, was trying to backdash
Though
here.
the
Let's see.
score is what it is right now. Jamie has had great answers.
Right.
good choice. I like that time.
Oh no, maybe not backdash, but look, just jumping out, I guess, looking for command grab. V-shift here, and then here's, I mean, maybe think about it in this way. If there hadn't been V-shift break, if it had just been V-shift, that thunderclap might have hit, which is good for Poi. If V-shift break, then this neutral jump medium kick also hits. Right, so both sides are actually being covered here. Pretty cool. And if Jamie had blocked, you know, a different story, but she chose for V-shift break now. I mean, it's
Charge time on the headbutt.
Yeah.
So it
a little funky here.
let
This
go
is
or fully charge the headbutt.
obviously not what Papoy was looking for, and just a scramble starts. But nevertheless, that offensive moment there versus, again, Jamie being active defensively, you know, that's the kind of thing that you do. It's kind of setup that you do. If you're expecting, oh, you might be active here. You might be looking to backdash, V-shift break, whatever it may be. And Papoy's right.
I know how much damage Laura can do in that situation.
Papoy.
Papoy is looking so
My God.
incredible.
Right. Just maybe round reaction, which is great if so.
Let's just have fun.
Oh my God, this guy's
Looking for headbutt. That's why you would neutral jump there, right? You're like, oh boy, huge moment.
Good block on the Xbox.
Now, Jamie does not have V-skill 2, so her damage is not going to be quite as high. Oh, wow, stolen moment again.
The jump back jab as well.
Oh my God!
He's trying. Stop doing
Okay, so JV getting these right.
I know he's trying to take advantage of negative frames that situation, but
Yeah.
Jamie's ready, man.
Yeah.
So again, look, I mean, we've seen Jamie certainly with big life advantages, and she takes the round.
Wow, look at that.
You know, this is not, I guess what I would say is, when I first watched this, I thought to myself, oh man, you know, Jamie is finding it tough to sort of keep up with the mentality that it takes to close out in a grand finals versus a strong player to get into something big, right? With a big payoff, not just in terms of finances, but in terms of like you get into Capcom Club. That's a big payoff. When I first watched this, that was my feeling that she was kind of falling apart. In this second watch through now, and in a little bit more detail, she's taking rounds still. You know, she's certainly keeping up into these moments. She has good offensive choices still sometimes. She has good defensive choices still sometimes.
The command grab once again.
But she's active, right? I mean, and that is, and again, Papoy's a little late there, but he, I think, did read what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, -2 on EX hands, so Papoy taking turn right away. You know, he's relentless at this point.
If there's any character that'll make anyone crack with great defense, it is going to be Laura.
Laura is an incredible tournament character, of course.
I think Honda is as well.
Yeah. Super solid.
So it's on Jamie kind of to make this comeback. Remember what I said about Papoy doing a great job at backing off, resetting the situation, using Thunderclap to move forward. Really all classic Laura stuff, but he does it really well.
Getting that thunderclap out there.
Nice. Stop sign.
Oh, big, oh my God, stolen turns big time.
Frames once again.
Oh, gets caught by the EX hand.
Stop stealing, you thief.
Right.
Stop stealing.
Could have chosen for knockdown, chose for hands. Could have killed there as well.
Yeah, he wants bad.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we've been in this, oh yeah. We have seen her in that situation before. Well, look, we've all been there. Crouching short jab into the elbow. It's still Laura's turn. What do you do? She's gonna go for command grab. You know, it's just, that's a bad spot to be in. We've all been there. But to reiterate, right, in this moment here, we have another round where
Gets caught by the EX
it's like conceivable that Jamie takes it, right? Again, this is, it's the next one.
Oh no.
Right? This one right here, if this just had been stand short into strong headbutt, you know, this is Jamie tying it up 1-1. If this is even crouching short jab, headbutt, or hands, then that also takes it. But, you know, as you can see, that's just not what came out. So we had seen in set 1, Jamie was ready for this stuff. Again, she's active defensively. She's looking for this kind of stuff. But her choices when finding that were into more damage. You know, we did see stand short into headbutt. We did see crouching short jab into hands, into EX hands, in fact. And here we're not.
He wants this round. He really wants it. He so wants it.
Yeah, he wants bad.
Right, the dash forward, you know, then that's...
Yeah, he wants...
Right, what's the impetus for the dash forward here other than impatience? You know, just, I mean, she picked just the wrong moment for it, unfortunately for her. For Papoy, the idea here is to just use EX Thunderclap. He's not really expecting that this will hit right away. The point of EX Thunderclap here is to force Jamie backwards and for Papoy to gain offense. It works out even better than that, but this moment was Jamie, you know, maybe reading that there was going to be a Thunderclap and trying to get dash grab or something, dash short or something. And that just was just unfortunately the wrong timing for her. And again, this series where crouching short jab, elbow comes up a couple times in a row. So it's not the case now that I'm looking at it on my second pass through that this is Jamie not having an active role, really. had thought, like I said, that on the first time I watched this, oh, Jamie's, you know, just not where she needs to be mentally to actually close out. She is doing a bunch of stuff, right? She's active, by which I mean she is, she's not just falling apart. She's making choices that are great in a lot of cases. Not quite sealing it, though. Not quite sealing it. Oh, look at this skating around from Laura. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Stealing so many turns. So many turns.
This is crazy. Let me see if Jamie has
Look at all that gray life actually on Jamie's side. Jeez.
to kind of bring this back. I want to see a final game in this set again.
Okay, so she had good patience. She then turned it into offense. She turned it into neutral control. Here's patience again. Oh, okay, well, Papoy takes advantage of that.
Time and time again that Papoy does not care about that.
Back jab into the headbutt. You need this round, Jamie.
Yeah, +1. Okay.
Oh, there you go. Nice interruption.
Again, right? It's she's not out of this. We're definitely seeing spurts in here of Jamie doing well.
Very few players in this community or this
Yeah,
part
the
of the
armor.
world,
Yeah, the armor is getting kind of dented.
but there's very few players in this part of the world.
Wow.
Jamie double, like, just down.
Yeah, exactly. You almost never see that.
Double down on the wrong.
I get the feeling kind of that Papoy in front of Honda at this point feels more comfortable. Like, look how many buttons he's pressing here. Roundhouse, roundhouse.
Playing it out.
He, fierce there. We saw dashes a bunch. We saw medium. We thought thunderclap, even charge thunderclap.
You're still trying to steal frames, and we're going to get a conversion into medium headbutt from the light kick.
Wow. Okay, we saw Jamie, remember, bet on that before.
Stealing frames.
Oh, no, you don't have V-Skill
Doesn't
2.
get that anymore. That's not there.
I mean, that's fine, though. You just build meter, I suppose. All right, so here's the party.
No V-shift needed right now.
Calling out patience.
You'll probably take another one.
Barely lives. Yeah, again, the patience. Papoy knew it.
Right, are you going to take a third one? Are you going to try
And he knew it when there was not going to be patience. Livey, what can you say? Papoy's making fantastic reads here. Yeah, just super good reads. And this is not a case of Jamie in this round here overcommitting to one choice. We have seen that, right? Again, we mentioned that before. Something we had seen her do. Here, she's not actually. This is her with the big life lead. When does this start? Right after this. So after the meaty jab, patience, and then it's Papoy.
That's not there anymore.
You know, starting it off, plus frames,
No V-shift needed right now.
calling out that Jamie would sit still.
Look at this. Oh,
Again,
Another one. Right? Are you going to take
calling out that
another
Jamie
one?
would move.
This one, wrong choice.
the counter hit.
Oh no. Oh dear. Oh.
And, oh boy, you know, I mean, the overhead hit, we had seen that not hit a couple of times. We'd seen Jamie punish it, actually. And then after the plus frames from... Actually, this was right. Yeah, EX, so plus frames. You know, again, it's Papoy making a full-on comeback. And so now all of a sudden, it's him who's at tournament point.
Oh my word.
Highwayman.
Please don't tell me he's going to rob his way into
Oh
Capcom.
my goodness. Papoy.
Looking for a neutral jump over there, that's why... I'm sorry, looking for a headbutt, hence the neutral jumps.
The gimmicks and the fake
Yeah.
strings, and he's really gotten into Jamie's
Yeah,
head,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's where it counts right now.
Right,
Jamie
the
still
dash. You know, Jamie is giving up on some of these neutral situations.
I wish I could do that. Maybe I should play
Finally, this works out. We've been seeing Papoy fish for that for a while.
Oh goodness. Jamie's in the corner. I have to hold my breath at this point. Jamie's in the corner. Get out.
Oh boy. Oh boy, there's a super to contend with. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's actually not enough. Right, but a challenge just at the wrong time. So, I mean, for Jamie, again, she's a player who likes to be active and who did not just straight up fall apart. Is, you know, she's a strong player. Did not just straight up fall apart. But, you know, sort of as a concluding phrase here, as it went on, especially in the first set, especially in certain rounds in the second set, not even just rounds, sequences, really, you could see that Papoy was the one who was prepared to pursue in moments when he could, you know, recognize this is an important mental moment. Some of these moments that we have been talking about here, you know, important character-wise or matchup-wise, more than that, those are moments that are important mentally, and it's hard to close out in some of those moments. Those are difficult things to do. you're trying to keep your mind on the potential victory in the game, while also trying not to think about the fact that, oh, there's like money on the line, and oh, there's Capcom Cup on the line. Let's head back here. You know, those are tough moments to stay mentally engaged in. Again, I've been there, not in a Capcom qualifying moment, but like in plenty of other tournaments, I've been there, and I know that it's easy to not remain consistent. You know, Jamie got into grand finals on winner's side. She blew up some of her opponents, honestly, in getting into that grand finals. She was looking really, really strong. Papoy was looking good too. Had to come back from through losers, but you know, clearly a good player. But I don't think there's a way to tell the story that's not both that Papoy is a strong player who's making great reads and who senses these moments where his opponent is a little bit unprepared for how to seal the deal. And also that Jamie certainly still had moments of playing well, but also, you know, wasn't making the same defensive choices, wasn't making the same offensive choices, wasn't making the same neutral game choices that she had been earlier on. And that is, you know, again, a big part of that is just mentality. Being able to close out, being able to not think about what's on the line, just being able to play your game in the video game is really harder than it sounds. So for Jamie, you know, it would have been cool for a Honda to get into Capcom Cup, right? Obviously, I'm a little biased in this. I'm a Honda player. I think that would have been super sick. It still could happen. I think the character's good, but I think that would have been definitely cool. And, you know, hey, didn't work out. Hats off to Papoy. Played really, really well. I liked a lot of what we saw out of Papoy. It's, again, not just a story of Jamie, I think, kind of not being quite there in terms of the sort of mental fortitude that it takes to remain consistent. But also that Papoy played great. So both things. Anyway, congrats to Papoy. Qualifies for Capcom Cup. Yeah, definitely impatience was a big part of it. Again, I think that Jamie is often an active player, but certainly there were series in there as we went through that were her overcommitting in some ways, and then rather than overcommitting constantly, of picking moments that were too easily understood by the opponent to change that up, to go from, oh, button defensively to I have to block for a while, and Papoy knowing exactly when those moments were going to be. I mean, those are hard things to know, like when that's going to come up, but Papoy did know those things, and so that's hence the result, right? All right, congrats again to Papoy. Congrats again to Jamie as well for getting into grand finals there. That's super cool. I'm sure we'll see more from both of them. All right, let's head back down to David on the field for the conclusion. Boy, I have the worst graphics, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know what the deal is there on the production end. Something's always going wrong on this show. You know, despite my best efforts at hiring good help, it's almost like I should just do it on my own. It's almost like I should just be every role in this show rather than having hired so many people to do all of it for myself. Maybe one of these days that's what I'll do, but for now, that's going to be it on Monday Morning Quartersback. Thanks a lot for watching. Congrats again to the players. We'll be doing many more of these streams in the future. Check it out. They air live at about 11 or 12 on Monday mornings. Twitch.tv/UltraChenTV. We then put them up on YouTube.com/UltraChenTV on the next Monday. So that in both cases, it's Monday, baby. All right, cool. Thanks a lot for hanging out. See you, everybody.